Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Do you believe in God? Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again with Salt Strong Unchurched, back from a great vacation. My wife and I, for her surprise birthday, we had a couple of our friends beat us to Puerto Rico. There is a Ritz-Carlton Reserve. I didn't know what a Ritz-Carlton Reserve was. I do now. I know it's expensive. You guys can look it up. There's only, I guess, a few in the whole world. And my wife had always wanted to go there. It was a big birthday. I won't share her age, but it was a big number, biggest yet, if you can believe it. And she really wanted to go there. And so we did it, and it was really, really special. Had a blast. And if you're looking for an unforgettable trip and really just the best customer service and just unique rainforest / beach feel, was the old Rockefeller estate. So Rockefeller, being richest person in the world, bought this for themselves. And you can understand why when you get there, but really special. Anyhow, that's not the point of the trip. The point of the trip is what happened on the way back. So on the way back from Puerto Rico, we're with our friends now. As I said, our friends, her best friend surprised her there, and they had wigs on. The whole thing was just a hoot. And so we're coming back, we're tired and getting back into the work scheme of things. And we're at the Orlando airport waiting on our luggage. And I noticed this guy was kind of looking at me, like he knew me or something. And it's Salt Strong. There's a lot of people that do, and so I figured that might have been what it was. And he eventually comes up to me. I thought he was going to say something like, "Hey, Simon's Like Diamonds." That happens occasionally. My wife always rolls her eyes, and he comes up right next to me, and he looks at me. He's like, "Do you believe in God?" It kind of took me back because I expected him to say something different. And I don't know that if anyone's just randomly come up to me in an airport and asked me that. And I was like, "I do." He goes, "I thought so." And so my wife and her friend are like, a couple feet behind me. They're kind of listening, like, "What's going on here?" And so he's like, "Do you believe in God?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I thought so." Because I was just watching you over there. And he goes, all of a sudden it just hit me. He goes, I felt like I had a message from God to tell you that your family is going to be blessed in the year 2026, unlike any other year, that something special is going to happen in 2026. And I was like, "Man, thank you." And he's like, "Yeah." I don't know what it was. He's like, "But I literally couldn't get it out of my head. And I feel like I had to come over here and tell you that." And just walked away and kind of disappeared. I don't even know he's getting bags. It was very bizarre. Like I looked around for him again. He's like gone. Kind of gives like goosebumps thinking about it. But yeah, so he's staring at me. We're all waiting for bags. The bags hadn't even come out yet, which is even crazier. And then the dude just kind of disappears. So I don't know if he just picks random people or if that was a special God event, but it was really, really interesting. It got me thinking how bad, I'm going to say I am, not you, but how bad I am, and probably we is probably more accurate, at spreading the word, right? Meaning spreading the good word about God, about Jesus, the gospel. We're not great at that at all, and I'm going to tell you my reasons why. And this is always something I struggle with. Obviously, I'm getting better. I have a thing called Unchurched that I do every Sunday, so I'm certainly maybe better than I used to be, and maybe even better than a lot. But why I struggled for so long was a couple things. One, it was shame. Meaning hypocrisy from things in my past, right? And I didn't do anything bad. I was never in prison or anything. But even then, there's so many people who found God there, and it's like we're ashamed to tell people because of something in our past, right? And like I always use the example of my college buddies, like and I have some that listen to this and even text me. So thank you. You guys know who you are. It's a couple of my old college buddies, but I was like, and when I first started doing this, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna roll their eyes, like, because they saw the dumb, crazy things I did in college that were not Christian-like. So there's the shame, the hypocrisy from our past, and that could go down a million different paths, right? From dumb things, bad things, sinful things. We all have them. We're sinners. We all have those. So there's that shame of, well, man, if I share with someone who knew something I did, or maybe they could even Google it, they're not just gonna believe me, and so we purposely almost don't share because of that fear. The other really big one for me was not my job. It's someone else's job, the church, pastor. It's not my job to go out there and spread the word and lead people to Jesus. It's the pastor, it's the church's job. And obviously the first two are not true. And this third one is not either, that we're not qualified. Meaning we don't know the Bible well enough. And that's something I still struggle with. I was on a podcast not too long ago. It was a Christian podcast, and they were asking me different things about Bible verses, and I honestly didn't know exactly what she was talking about in a couple of them. And I'm like, man, I felt this like not qualified feeling, or like, man, I don't even know the Bible that like I thought I did. I read it quite a few times now with this daily Bible. I was like, I don't even know what she's talking about. And so I think there's this fear that we're not qualified either. And, there are so many stories in the Bible of people who were sinners, right? That were not qualified at all, and ended up becoming evangelists of Jesus. And the lady at the well, there's, people who had done very bad things in life, from tax collectors to prostitutes, etc., that their only qualification was that they met Jesus. Like, that was literally the only qualification they had. And they were able to go be evangelists of Jesus, right? I mean, if you think about it, that's the only thing they had. And obviously, we weren't living at that time to meet him personally, but we all had that opportunity to have a personal and real relationship with Jesus every day. You don't have to be born at a certain time in Jerusalem to meet the guy. That's the beauty of what God has given us. And so we're all qualified, is my point, to do it. And yet it's usually one, if not all three of those fears, that the shame, or that, we think it's someone else's job or not qualified. But look at this guy. And I'm going to assume the best, that it was a true message you got from God. But even if it's not, I give him kudos, even if he literally just sat at that airport for a full day and just picked out 30 different people to give that to. It was powerful. Like, it got me thinking. I couldn't stop thinking about the whole drive home. I was like, man, that was just a good feeling. And he didn't quote scripture. He didn't pull out his Bible and say, well, look at this, what it says here in Luke, chapter 2. Like, no, he just said, do you believe in God? And I would have been interested if he said no, like how would he would have pivoted. But, I said yes. And he's like, man, I've been watching you. I've got this crazy feeling like God's speaking to me to tell you, anything. It's just, what a great way to start up a conversation, and had a pretty big impact. I mean, the fact I'm now, telling thousands of people about it on UNCHURCHED, all from this one guy's quick question that he did in an airport. So and I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's maybe not the best example, but that's one of many examples of just small little things that we could do. You don't have to start a podcast. You don't have to start your own church. It could be really, really, really small stuff. Even just asking kids or neighbors, do you believe in God, or where do you sit, or people who are sick or maybe on their deathbed? Probably a great place to start, just having the conversation. And what's helped me is being able to, and I'm not saying you should share this podcast, but being able to share a podcast or a message or a Bible verse, or like a little, a book that had some sort of meaning to you, or really hit you emotionally. Just setting the stage. Because here's what's wild. There was a study about how long it took for an unbeliever, meaning someone who was either a full atheist or just someone who didn't really believe in Jesus, how many times it took them to hear a message or to have an experience like I had at the airport, of someone bringing it up or going to church. It took, on average, an unbeliever between 5, that's like the absolute quickest ever, meaning it never happens in 1 or 2 times, and 100 times to hear the message of Jesus before they truly like followed him and said, you know what, I want this in my life. I want to be a Christian. That's wild. I'm going to repeat that. It takes an unbeliever between 5 and 100 times to hear the message of Jesus before following him. And it makes sense, right? There is probably no one in history who just heard about Jesus one time and just said, you know what, I'm going to get baptized today. I'm all in. Normally, they'd heard about him a couple times and maybe something happened in their life. Maybe they hit rock bottom. Maybe it was just an unreal an experience, or maybe it was someone like the guy who came up to me in the airport. Maybe I could have been someone on the fence that, yeah, I call myself a Christian, but don't really believe that stuff. And all it takes is one person like that, just getting the Spirit fired up inside of me, the Holy Spirit just, woo, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm all in. And maybe I'd already heard it 100 times. So when you think about that, every time we do something, regardless if it's someone in an airport or passing a message along to a friend or a psalm or a podcast or whatever it is, you're just planting. You're no different than the farmer who's just got to plant and know that if they continue to keep planting and watering and nurturing and giving some attention to that seed, that eventually it will grow. Because you never know if you're the first person, like basically if you're the first person to try to get someone to come to Christ, you almost have zero chance. Isn't that wild? And maybe it helped me to hear that man, the unbeliever takes somewhere between 5 and 100 times to really hear that message. So it would be like me just doing one podcast and saying, "Oh, I'm clean my hands, I'm done." No, I mean it's almost impossible for just one to change someone. One might get them curious. One might start, you know what? That's an interesting point of view. I want to learn more about that. Maybe I'll go get some more podcasts or go to church or whatever it might be. So just know that you might be number 1, 2, 3, or 4 and almost have zero chance of getting them to follow Jesus and kind of take the next steps. But if you're number 5 to 99, you've got a really, really good chance. And even if you're not the person, who cares? That's not what we're called. We're called to just spread the word, to bring people to Jesus. He will do the rest. I mean, that's what we know for sure. Everyone is on their own path. Everyone gets hit at the exact right time when they're supposed to. And God puts crazy things in our lives and crazy people and experiences, like the guy at the airport who came up to me out of the blue, like, why I'm with my friends too. It was a really wild kind of experience, and like I said, had a pretty big impact on me. And so God always plants those experiences and those people and those messages at the exact right time. So just the message, the overall message on this one is, don't give up. We are all called to spread the word. We're not all called to be pastors. We're not all called to have to sit up, in the front of a church and give some amazing speech that's going to bring people to tears. And that's not what God wants from us, right? There are certain people who are ordained to do that, but he wants us to spread the word. If Jesus has had an impact on our lives, to spread the word here, especially this time of the year. At Christmas time, this is a time for us to even just kind of remind the kids and the nieces and nephews and parents, whoever it might be, the real reason behind Christmas and why we're really celebrating. It's not just to get gifts and talk about Santa Claus and all the fun things that do happen. It's such a good reminder to talk about Jesus and why we're celebrating this as a family and as a nation, etc. And not just at Christmas time, but all year long, right? There is no shame that should hold us back. There is no reason we should think it's someone else's job. It's all of our jobs, and we're certainly all qualified. Once again, the people in the Bible, their only qualification, they didn't have a Bible back then. They didn't have churches. Their only qualification was that they met Jesus, that they literally had some sort of run-in with him, whether touching his robe or having a quick conversation. That was the only qualification they had to be evangelists, and they were. So keep that in mind. Is maybe you struggle like I have and still do. There have been times where I wanted to speak up and I didn't, and I still regret it. Meaning there's been times even with some close friends where they had said something that I really wanted to say something, but I was like, man, I mean, they know about some of my past and I don't know if I'm qualified. And you know what? It's someone else's job. Like those are the three kind of filters that always go through my head. So if you're struggling with one of those, know that you're not alone. Dude, just put it out there. I mean, the worst that can happen is it gets them curious and they start thinking about it later down the road. And you're just one of those kind of seeds that's been planted. So don't give up. Continue to spread the word, and maybe just that simple question: do you believe in God? And just see where it takes you. I'm personally going to try it. I'll keep you posted how it goes. But I personally just want to try it. I'm not just going to do it with random people in airports personally, unless I truly feel a call from God. But I am going to just start doing that when the timing feels right, or if God just feels like I'm called to do it. So I love you guys. Hope you are having an amazing month here as we do celebrate Jesus in his birth and all that he's done for us. So love you guys. And if you have any questions, thoughts, other struggles, if there's other things that are kind of holding you back from sharing anything about God or Jesus, let me know. I'd love to hear other thoughts on it. Might turn into another podcast. My private email is Joe, @saltstrong.com. Otherwise, I will talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul. It was passed down to me from the days of old. To find us on the water, if there was a way. It's been said my papa, he wrote the book on catching big reds and 20-pound snook. I wish I knew all the things he knew today. For he's the reason why we are this way. And he put fish in our soul.